So, I'm an autistic guy, and, well, a lot of times that means you're going to struggle with socializing. But I kind of want to say a few things on this, because it doesn't necessarily mean I can't, it just means it's hard. In fact, it's really hard to stay consistent for me. You see, somehow I have managed to make these first impressions on so many people where they can tell by my energy that I'm an extrovert and I just love people. I don't say anything, but in my head I'm like, okay, what the heck did I do? Because I know personally I have to repeat things in my head, a dialogue, and I know that I need to spend time alone after hanging out with people, and oftentimes I would rather do that, and so on and so forth. I'm an introvert. I'm just an introvert. I'm in physics right now, and I'm pretty sure I'm one of the most introverted people in the physics department, if that says anything. Well, being autistic kind of just means there's some struggle. I don't know if there's ever any autistic person who doesn't struggle with socializing. I think it's just part of the condition. I'm sure there's extroverted autistic people out there, but I struggle to socialize. Doesn't mean I can't. In fact, by the looks of it, I can be pretty good at it. I've had multiple people tell me that I made a very good first impression on them. The problem is, first impressions don't last. The lasting impression is the last one. So you could be doing good for this long, and then this little brief period of time, you go through burnout or something, that's who you are. Which, to a degree, it shows another aspect of who you are. But me personally, when I'm going through burnout, I don't feel like that is who I am. I don't feel like myself anymore, and it kind of makes me not like being perceived. So, in the end, what does it do? Well, I can act the part of being an extrovert. It wears me out. I go into autistic burnout, and then I isolate. So, consistency is a real problem for me. It's like, I can come across as an extrovert if you meet me when I'm in a certain phase of life, but if you meet me when I'm not in that phase of life, somewhere else, like close to autistic burnout, you don't think I ever leave my bedroom. You don't think I ever talk to people at all. You don't think I can. Oftentimes, if you tell people you're autistic, that's kind of what they just default to. This sort of thing in my mind. And, well, I think I'm good enough at masking and blending in for people not really they don't really realize I'm autistic, but certain people, I don't know how much of a surprise it would be if I came clean about it. Okay, so, point being, autistic people, we do struggle to socialize, but that doesn't mean we can't. And, well, sometimes we want to. I find that if I isolate myself too much, I do start to feel more anxious, just more stress, and I don't know, it's almost like a drowning feeling, somewhat. So, unfortunately, we're all a little bit extroverted, being human. We all want to be social, to some degree. It's just a struggle. It's just a struggle for some of us. And, well, it's good for us too. So it's just like, god damn it. It's kind of like choosing your poison, because the poison has anti-nutrients in it, but also it has nutrients. That's how socializing kind of seems to me. And that's what makes it hard to be consistent. Like constantly tug and pull between needing to socialize and needing isolation and having to fit in and trying to mask to, I don't want to mask anymore. I don't want to be you. I want to be me. I don't want to emulate. So, basically, it's kind of a shit show for a lot of autistic people out there. Because you want things, it's just you have almost a maladaptive way of getting it. The frustration that we inevitably experience when we interact with people, it's hard to navigate too. It's hard to want to go out and talk to people when you feel like it's just going to end up here again. So, in the end, I can socialize. In fact, I think I'm more antisocial than a lot of people in physics, but I might be better at socializing to an extent. I've gone to parties in physics, and there's a lot of people who will go to each party, but you just kind of tell, I'm not trying to judge people, they're pretty nervous. They're pretty uncomfortable, and there's a lot of uncomfortable smiles going on. And it's usually me trying to carry the conversation stuff, and I will do it. I have the ability to at certain times in my life, but I don't necessarily like doing it. It could seem enjoyable to some degree, and sometimes it is. If it's a genuine friend, yes. But talking just to random people, a lot of times it's just work. And so, it's just kind of weird. It's like I'm extroverted, but not just like everybody. I guess it's a final point, just to make full circle. It is, I am autistic. I may be thought of as somebody who cannot socialize, but I can. In fact, I've been basically called good at it. But other times in my life, I am not good at it. And I'm just very inconsistent. And that inconsistency is hard to deal with. Very, very hard to deal with. It's hard to deal with the changes in, the judgments you get. It's just hard. It's just hard to actually, it feels like you're never yourself, really. Maybe for a small period of time, because you're either trying to be someone else, or you're in burnout mode where you don't feel like yourself. So, basically, all of us, it seems, I don't know of any exceptions where you burn out and you turn into an extreme introvert who just needs to recharge all the time. That's very common. But I would wager that most autistic people are kind of like myself. I don't know the answer, this is speculation, but I would think that so many of us can mask to the degree of blending in well and seeming like we're not autistic, but when you look under the hood, we are. And you only see the most extreme symptoms of that. So, it's just hard. It's like we never get judged for who we are. And, yeah. Socializing, I'd say, it's not necessarily the act of it, necessarily, in general. It's just all these other things that come with it that make it hard for me. And again, for me, personally, it's the inconsistency I don't like dealing with in myself. So, you gotta imagine that all autistic people are different, but then each individual autistic person doesn't necessarily act the same at all times. So, if you're going through burnout and dealing with that sort of side of things, like I don't feel like myself, I don't like myself, I don't want anyone looking at me, because when I'm in burnout, I don't like being perceived. I think that it's not necessarily your fault, and I know I needed this told to me. I'm not broken. I'm not broken. I'm not a broken machine. I'm just a human being with unmet needs. And I bet that those unmet needs are just, we are never really properly received by the other person. It's always some sort of issue going on, and it's hard to be ourselves. So I just wonder if, I had a way to just be myself a little bit more consistently, if I could be more consistent with that. It seemed kind of reasonable, but I don't know, I guess I gotta start trying.